So, it's finally the official launch of Subnautica Below Zero, and you're diving into the waters. You're going to want to know a few things when going in if you want to make your survival experience smooth. There are a few small but very good quality of life changes made in this expansion, so whether you're a new player or a Subnautica veteran, there should be some good new information for you to learn in this video. We're going to be going over some of the minor changes as well as some of the changes that impact the gameplay in extremely beneficial ways so you can make the best use of your resources. With that all being said, I'm Wayun6, let's dive into the video. Number 1. Conserve power. This one might seem self-explanatory, but hear me out. I'm naturally a very impatient person, so I know how it feels to desperately want to go faster, especially when swimming feels like you're stuck in a huge vat of molasses. Just try to keep your power usage as low as possible if you really want to make your battery life last. This will be much more important in the early game before you have access to the battery charger. But getting used to doing this will stop you from running out of battery juice nearly as often for your entire playthrough. For example, try not to use your sea glide near your base. If you're coming back from a voyage and getting close to your base, if you have a good 30 seconds or so of oxygen left, you might want to think about putting that sea glide away and swimming back to the door to conserve every bit of power that you can. Or, if you're just going outside to grab something close by, maybe keep that sea glide in your pocket. Yeah, it's a little slower, but once you realize that in the early game, oxygen is free and battery power is not, it becomes a pretty easy call to make. Number 2. Oxygen sources. Subnautica Below Zero has added many more ways to conserve your oxygen while swimming in the depths. As well as oxygen plants scattered around the map in easy-to-see and well-lit areas, you can also now siphon a very small amount of oxygen from your diving bladder. I find that going back and using these oxygen plants regularly can extend my underwater exploration time by at least double, if not triple, when used strategically. You can also get a small O2 boost from these large Titan holefish. Though I don't find myself using the bladder for oxygen or going to the holefish often, it is nice to have in a pinch when you're really close to safety and only need a few more seconds of air. Number 3. Map size. The map of Subnautica Below Zero, when viewed in the map viewer, appears to be much smaller than the map of the original game. Though this initially might seem like a downside, even to myself when I first saw it, once I got further into the game, I found the map was actually much more complex than that of the original. There are far more caves around, increasing the overall surface area, much like a sponge, and the average depth of the crevices, even in the shallow areas, is much deeper. I find there to be a higher average concentration of ore croppings around, and because there is more verticality, you spend far less time aimlessly traveling back and forth to your base in the Seamoth for what feels like hours. Because of this more compact size, you can actually run into a lot more resources and things to discover when you're on your way to do something specific. I find myself getting much more distracted by cool things I find in this expansion than I did in the original game. This one might be a taste-based thing. If you like the big, open, and empty seascapes of the first game, you might be disappointed here. But if you got a bit annoyed at how often you had to travel across those empty wastes just to get to something, you might be happy with this change. Number 4. The big one. Inventory management. This is the biggest quality of life change so far in my opinion. I find myself making use of this mechanic literally every single time I play. In Subnautica Below Zero, you can now recycle materials. This is huge, and it changes item storage forever. With this new mechanic, you can often increase your storage in your base basically for free. By compacting items, you can often get 2 to 5 times the storage space depending on the material. If you've gotten your hands on the Recyclotron blueprint, make one as fast as you can. They're an essential base component for managing your storage space, and it gets even more crucial the further you are in the game. You can now put nearly any item that has a fabricator recipe into the recycler and get out its base components basically for free, aside from the power consumption cost. As long as you have power, you can recycle. Take this box of titanium for example. In just a few minutes, I can give myself 5 times more titanium storage space. Just fabricate your titanium into ingots and store them in your box instead of the raw ore. Look at how much storage space this saves. Whenever you need more titanium, you can just drop a few ingots into the recycler and boom, plenty of titanium. This can also be used to double the storage size of other minerals like copper or silver by storing them in the form of copper wire or wiring kits. Try to compact items for storage whenever you can. The best part of this change is since in this game you have access to the sea truck instead of the sea moth, you can attach a fabricator and storage module to it, meaning you can collect and compress your collected items while on the go, greatly extending the length of your individual expeditions, requiring you to return home far less often. And those were some of the changes made to Subnautica Below Zero. There are definitely more than that, but I wanted to keep this video short. If you want more tips and tricks videos, let me know in the comments, give the video a like, and subscribe for more content. Happy diving! Thanks for watching.